So very happy to see all of you here this morning. This is a favorite time of the week for me. This is Newman Lumen, our Thursday inspiration, a time for us to gather in community and to hear the stories of our community. And this semester, our theme for Newman Lumen is me and my own words. And so we are really excited to hear from our speaker today, but you will have more of an introduction to him in a bit. I would like to, however, introduce you to our musician for today, Femi Manuel, class of 24. And so we are just so excited that Femi is available to play today and to sing for us as well. He stepped in and had to run over from class, so we apologize for our slightly late start today, but we are so happy to get going. So thank you all.
Talk about you like you're not in the room. I wanna look right at you. I wanna sing right to you. And I don't wanna talk about you like you're not in this room. I wanna look right at you. I wanna sing right to you. And I believe you are listening. I believe you're moved at the sound of my voice. And I believe you are listening. I believe you are moved at the sound of my voice. Give me those eyes. Give me undistracted devotion. Only you. Give me those eyes. Give me undistracted devotion. Only you. Oh, 'cause I don't wanna talk about you like you're not in the room. I wanna look right at you. I wanna sing right to you. And I don't wanna talk about you like you're not in this room. I wanna look right at you. I wanna sing right to you. Give me undistracted devotion. Undistracted devotion. Give me undistracted devotion. Oh, undistracted devotion. Give me undistracted devotion. I just wanna see you more. I just wanna see you more. I just wanna hear you more. I just wanna feel you more. I just wanna know
Good morning, y'all. Thank you so much, Femi John, for that incredible music. Looking forward to hearing more in just a little bit. I'm particularly grateful today for you saying yes to being here on short notice. I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Jonathan McElderry, who is relatively new to us here at Elon and joins us as Dean of Student Inclusive Excellence. Hopefully I got that right-ish. Great. I'm particularly grateful to have you here as well, and that you said yes to something you don't know a whole lot about. I'm hopeful that this time will be a way for everybody in this space to get to know you a little better and to hear about the gifts and wisdom and stories you bring to us. Dr. Jonathan McElderry is a practitioner, scholar, and educator in higher education. He serves as the Dean of Student Inclusive Excellence and Assistant Professor here at Elon. His research has sought to raise awareness of the experiences of historically excluded students at predominantly white institutions and provides strategies to increase their academic and social success. He's a sought-after speaker and thought leader in the area of student personnel and college student development. From a scholarship perspective, he has 14 publications in press or in print, from peer-reviewed journal articles to book chapters, numerous conference presentations, and he recently was awarded a contract for his first book, which focuses on varying ways students experience intersectional marginalization in higher education. Additionally, he serves on the governing board of ACPA, College Student Educators International, as the Director of Equity and Inclusion, is a co-lead facilitator for the Leadership Institute, and serves as an editorial board member for the Journal of African American Males in Education. Dr. McElderry also serves on the board of advisors for Quad DEI consulting firm, which is a Black woman-owned and specializes in diversity, equity, and inclusion training and education. Finally, he has been recognized with ACPA's Inuit Copetis Emerging Professional Award and was named University of Missouri College of Education's 2021 Alumni Outstanding Early Career Award winner. Dr. McElderry holds a PhD in Educational Leadership and Policy Analysis from the University of Missouri, an MED in College Student Personnel from Ohio University, and a BS in Administration of Justice from George Mason University. And we are so pleased to welcome him to this place this morning.
All right. Can you all hear me? Perfect. So thank you all for coming today. I first want to give a special thanks to Reverend Boswell for the invitation to speak today. It was in our onboarding meeting, and that was one of her first asks. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm about 2 weeks in, so I guess I'll say yes. Second, to Reverend Julie, she took the time to help me understand what Newman Lumen was and kind of walk me through the process and model the way for us about 2 weeks ago. And finally, to Simone and the Creed staff for the ability to be a part of Black Student Success Week. In preparing for Newman Lumen, I started thinking about what I wanted to share, how much to share, and if anyone would even show up, which you all did, so I appreciate it. Talking about yourself is probably one of the easiest yet most challenging topics to give someone because context determines the breadth and depth of the information you share. This year's theme, Me in My Own Words, resonated with me because I think it's easy to write a story about someone based on a few shared interactions, what we see on social media, or hearsay. For me, people often will hear my bio read, see my resume, or see me in passing, and draw conclusions about who they think I am without having a clue. What they typically are unaware of is my journey to get to where I am today. There are a lot of stories I can share of my life experiences, some good, some bad, many highs, but also some lows. These experiences have largely shaped and influenced my worldview and how I show up day to day. My hope is that my time here today provides a glimpse into who I am, but also serves as an invitation to get to know me on a more personal level. So the question, who am I? When I think about the experience that have changed the course of my life, education has played a significant role. I've spent the last 20 years navigating higher education as a first-gen undergraduate student, a master's student, a doctoral candidate, and now a higher ed professional. My experiences have been marked with many successes and lots of lessons learned. But through it all, education has opened many doors in my life. It has introduced me to a great constellation of people, allowed me to travel the world, present at conferences throughout the country, publish academic pieces, and establish myself as a practitioner, scholar, and educator. Being at Elon, I have the opportunity to serve on the mentoring design team, and being in that space has really caused me to reflect on the mentorship I've received throughout my lifetime. The role as mentoring has played a vital role in my success and being before you all today. Over 20 years ago, when I stepped foot on George Mason's campus, I did not know what to expect out of life. Fortunately, I met the right people and have been surrounded by good people thus far that have seen talents and potential in me that I didn't always see in myself. They have pushed me beyond my comfort zone, held me accountable when I wasn't being the best version of myself, lent an ear in times of discomfort, and forced me to grow in ways I couldn't imagine. Because of these experiences, I feel as though I've been called to work in higher education and to play a role in shepherding the next generation to successfully navigate this gauntlet of higher ed in life, and I hope that they will avoid some of the challenges I've experienced. So again, who am I? When I think about the unique and intersectional identities that inform how I show up in the world, I often reflect on a quote by the late Dr. Maya Angelou, and it reads, "The ache for home lives in all of us, the safe place where we can go as we are and not be questioned." And so I first learned about this quote several years ago at the Leadership Institute and used it as a tool to really center myself. We as a people, self included, want human connection and the ability to be who we are and not be judged. However, the intersection of both my privileged and marginalized identities creates a unique lived experience. And unfortunately, we live in a society where I'm forced to be overly cognizant of my identities and how I show up in many spaces. So again, we continue with the story of who am I? There are many stories and songs that have had a profound impact on my personhood. First, I am a lover of music and feel as though there's a song for every moment and emotion in life, so it's hard to choose just one song. However, if you ever come by my office, see me in the car or at home, I'm often listening to 90s R&B. I love it. It's everything about it that it takes over. There's something about the vocals, the lyrics, the melody, the hook, and most importantly, the harmonies that I literally can feel it in my body. One of the greatest lessons I've learned has come from students, and it's the power of vulnerability. I'm a huge fan of Brene Brown. I love her work and read many of her pieces to enhance my understanding and practice of being vulnerable, which is hard to do. Not many people want to share their challenges in life or expose their fears. Almost 7 years ago, I was preparing for my dissertation defense. Throughout my time at Mizzou, I worked full-time at the Black Culture Center and advised a number of student organizations on campus. There were many late nights in the office, either completing coursework or eventually writing my dissertation, and it kind of just was a significant part of my life. It was either work or writing. And so I didn't know the students actually were watching me go through this whole process. I thought that they were kind of in their own world and didn't know that they were that tuned in. So when I eventually set my defense date, the students began asking if they could attend. And my immediate answer was no, because it's an immense amount of pressure going into prepping for a dissertation defense, and I didn't necessarily want an audience. As time went by, the students asked again. They explained to me that they really wanted to attend because they had never seen anyone defend their dissertation, let alone go through the process of earning a PhD, and so it was important to them. They collectively had already convened and voted on what they were going to call me once I finished and came up with the name Dr. J. After some thought, I gave in and said yes. And so I can remember meeting with my dissertation chair and asking for a larger room because the students had expressed interest in being present. And so November 9th, 2015 is a day that I always remember. So at 10 a.m. that day, the 2015 protests that were occurring at the University of Missouri commenced. The university system president and the university chancellor stepped down early that morning. The weeks leading up to this date were full of outright chaos, a student hunger strike, national press, and so much more. Simultaneously, my defense was scheduled for this day as well. And it was to take place at 1 p.m. And I couldn't move it because of the deadlines in the College of Ed and everything. So naturally, I assumed because of this historic moment that not many students would really show up because they were out on the quad and just excited about, the end of this protest and the hunger strike. However, I was wrong. The space was standing room only, and current students and recent alum came to support me. They were engaged, asked questions, and stayed until the very end. I was shocked because I assumed that when they dismissed, the people in the audience for me to meet with my committee, that the students would have left and went on about their way. However, they were in the hallway, on the floor, with their laptops, on their phones, talking to each other. And so when it was my time to leave, I was surprised when I walked out there and saw them. So once my committee met, they invited us all back in, and we entered the room and shared in the joy of successfully defending my dissertation and earning the letters PhD behind my name. What this taught me is how fear can sometimes show up and hinder us from being a blessing to others. I learned that my life, my decisions, my fears are not always about me, but I have the power to positively impact others, and I represented a possibility model for many students I encounter. For them, I represented the power of hard work, resilience, and that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. So again, we continue with the story of who am I? When I think about what inspires me to live in an authentic manner, I really struggle. I try to think of where in my life do I show up fully, and as I reflect, I realize that I'm often compromising who I am based on the context of the environment. At work, the standard of professionalism, which is often rooted in whiteness, results in me code switching and showing up and dressing in a particular manner. But when I'm with my family, I have to almost turn off or dial down kind of the social justice and critical DEI lens because it'll put me in constant educator mode with them. So when I think about the question, what does living in an authentic manner actually mean, and is it possible? I'm not really sure. What I do know is that whether in my personal or professional life, people will always have an opinion, justified or not, and that what I cannot do is let the opinion of others impact my self-worth and how I live my life. There have been instances that have caused me to refocus how I approach life. Throughout life, I haven't had many people close to me pass away. However, in the last year, death has struck too close to home. When in the last 6 months, I had 2 close friends from college suddenly pass away. Both were unexpected and have really shaken me to my core. I didn't imagine that I would experience my friends pass away this soon in life. We had dreams, goals, trips, and many more memories to make. But what is frustrating is that I kind of let the busyness of life take over. Both were friends that I had planned to see in the near future, and so I put off picking up the phone to contact them. And this is something that I think about every day. What I do know is that now more than ever, I have to live each day to the fullest and be very intentional about where I put my time and my energy. When I said I wasn't going to cry, but here we are. Okay. I appreciate it. So, again, I contemplate the question, who am I? So when I think about the stories of my life and what I want you all to hear and hold, the one on my journey to Elon sticks out. 6 years ago, I was invited to guest lecture for a politics class of a fraternity brother to speak about campus activism and in my experience at the University of Missouri. I was hesitant and really didn't want to because I was still in the process of kind of processing that experience, but I agreed. Little did I know that in the audience, who I would later meet at the end, was Dr. Randy Williams. And he came and we chatted at the end of my presentation and just became acquainted and began to establish a relationship. The following year, Melanie Bullock Harris, a friend of mine and former colleague, there she is, at Wake, sent an email about this conference called Intersect. And she was like, you should bring your students. And I was like, okay. And so we sent it out over our listserv at Wake, and we had like 2 vans full of students that signed up and wanted to come. And so we sponsored them, and they attended, and they came back and told us about how great it was and really enjoyed themselves. So the following year, I attended with them and actually presented at the session. Fast forward about a semester, a former professor of mine during my doctoral program, Dr. Rosanna Carducci, recently began working at Elon, and she extended an invitation to serve as a colloquium speaker for their MHE cohort. There, I met Alonzo C., who is an Elon alum, a fraternity brother, and a member of the inaugural cohort for their program, and we began to develop a friendship and connected at various higher ed conferences. In the fall of 2019, I would again return to campus, and this time to serve as one of the keynotes for the Intersect conference. And so during that time, I had the opportunity to work with Sylvia and Miss Marilyn as a visitor to this campus. Fast forward 2 years from there, I found myself back on Elon's campus, but in this capacity in an interview for the Dean of Student Inclusive Excellence. I learned even more about the great work happening at Elon. I knew this position would be right for me. My final interview was with President Book via Zoom. We chatted, and she mentioned being at the Intersect conference back in 2019 when I spoke. And I was surprised because I had no idea the president was in the room, because typically there's a lot of fanfare around presidents when they're at an event. But even more so, what surprised me is that she actually remembered what I talked about and was able to regurgitate it back to me in my interview. And so that really kind of offered the final reassurance that this should be the next step in my professional journey. And so I share this story with you because you never know who is in the room or has heard your name spoken in places that can positively impact your life. My journey to Elon was probably one of the most intentional decisions I've made in my life. Each time I return to campus, my constellation of connection to this community continued to grow, and here I stand 6 years later after initially stepping foot on this campus. I had no idea that one visit to teach or a guest lecture for a politics class would lead to me being an employee of this institution and being able to contribute to the great work already occurring. Hopefully, today's Lumen Lumen has allowed you a glimpse into who I am. One thing that is certain is that we all carry the weight of the past and the possibilities of the future with us each day. We all have a story to tell, and I am who I am based on my own unique life experiences. Who I am is a continued evolution, and my hope is that I continue to grow both personally and professionally, and that I am better today than I was yesterday, and better tomorrow than I am today. So the story of who I am continues to be written. Thank you.